People, welcome to Never a Foul. This is going to be our actual preview live for you lot, not the pre-recorded ones, not the little ones that we done earlier on in the day. This is just purely on the game itself, joined by, well, he's not here yet, Greasy. He'll be in about a few minutes. Man like Lee, man like Ron gets the bomb, and obviously man like Daps. What we all saying, man, Friday night settings a bit later than the usual, you know. Might get heated, it might not. This could be more context.
I don't think it will. I don't think it will. I think me and Lee are already coming from a kind of similar-ish angle on this one. So,
Pause.
Wait, what?
Well, yeah, I've corrupted Roms. I think now he's saying pause for anything. Now. Do you know what? The other day, actually, on a stream, Ty said pause about something, and afterwards I was thinking, bro,
it didn't make sense. You know, people use it in the wrong context.
Bro, I don't even know why you said pause to that. But yeah, our Friday's been all right. Me and Cass went out for a Turkish. Probably at first we were like, it's all right. Then afterwards we were like, that was like 3 out of 10 at best. Yeah, bro. Meaty Turkish.
That Turkish bread is the one, bro.
Bro, yeah, proper. But you know the problem is, so I ordered hummus as a starter, yeah, and you get that flat bread with it, and I backed so much of it. By the time my main course came, I was like, much. So I boxed
rookie mistake.
Bro,
man.
I boxed 2/3 of it up, yeah. Then I went for a trim afterwards and just left it in the barbers. So
yeah, mad.
Yeah, man. What do you say, Roms, man? You went all the way up to Liverpool yesterday just for that shit game.
Bro, I'm shattered. Performance was shit.
Was the performance bad? I didn't watch it. Was it bad?
By our standards, yeah. You know the ones where you're just better than the team, so you don't get up for the game. That's the vibe of the game. You weren't. Yeah, but did you? I presume you probably rested some players in that as well, though, didn't you? No, you know what? The team was quite strong. Salah started, Jota started, Nunes started. Our midfield we rested. That.
Do you know the thing is? It's a hard one, yeah. Like Klopp, well, you can pause that one. Because Klopp and Pep are very similar as far as managers. And do you know what? I'll probably put Arteta there. And to be fair, I'd probably put most managers there. No managers will ever want to lose games, yeah? And no players ever want to lose games. But there are some games that it is harder to get up for. And like, we've seen this, I think, when was it? It was about 4 or 5 years ago that last time you were in the Europa League, where you pretty much cruised the way to like the knockout stages, and then I think you got to the final in it. In fact, and it was only when it got to the semis that, like, at that point, Liverpool fans I know was like, well, do you know what? Because obviously that was before we did YouTube, but they were saying to me, I didn't want to I didn't care about this tournament, but now we're in the semi-finals. Like, yeah. Now let's win it. And I think it's probably that one with Liverpool. They know at the moment it's all about keeping on the tailcoats of keeping with the pack at the top of the league. And those games, like, it must be hard for them to get up for it. I'm not gonna lie, because it's not what they're used to. But you got the 3 points, bro. You have to bounce away from it and just go, we got the 3 points, and it is what it is.
Yeah, that's the main thing. You know what? Thing is, I'm different. I want to win this. A lot of our fans saying take it seriously in the last stage, and I get that, but we're in a European. End of the day, it's only really this country that disrespects it. It's a European competition at the end of the day. Yeah. I do want to win it, but you're right. When you know you're that much better against opposition, you go through the motions, and it was evident. We dominated the ball as expected. Nunes, it's going to be hard to back him. That is the easiest. That's probably the biggest miss since he's been at the.
Don't worry, leave it to me, and Cass will back him. Leave it to me, and Cass will back him.
No. I back him as well. But other than that, like I said, we got the 3 points, but it wasn't the greatest performance. And,
do you know what? Yeah, but with that tournament as well, there's a few reasons why I think it's still worth taking. I'm not saying, you know what, like, even last season season before last, we had PSG in between Chelsea and Liverpool, right? And we rested players because it was the first leg of the knockout of the group stages. It was like one way. Do you know what? Look at the bigger picture. We can go through first or second in this group. We can't afford to drop points to Liverpool at the weekend. So we rotated a little bit. But I think with any game, like, I'll be honest, the Newcastle game, in the Carabao Cup. What does that mean to our season? Absolutely nothing, right? Because we know but for me, momentum's massive. Momentum is so big, right? So there's that reason. And secondly, like from Klopp's point of view, it's the one that, like, so far at Liverpool, I mean, you don't include it. When you say we've won everything, you don't go, oh, well, you haven't won the Europa League, because that's not one of the pinnacles. But Klopp, it is a final that he got to and he didn't win. So I think Klopp will be like, this time round, I want that. And furthermore, for the players and for him, it's another trophy to go, like, you don't speak about, say, was it Roma in it? But then when I think Roma won the Europa League conference, but then to Mourinho can now say, I've won all European tournaments. So it is still something no trophies actually like to laugh at, is it? Like, and that's why I always found with Tottenham fans when they used to go, now we're better than the Carabao Cup. I'm like, bro, don't do that, man. It's a trophy.
Do you know what I find absurd, when Spurs fans say, I get this. A lot of them are saying at the start of the season. A lot of them saying at the start of the season, I'd rather see attractive football than a trophy. And it's that, do you not understand your drought? Like, you would still want to see attractive football other than lifting silver.
Everyone says it till they get to a final. And then the minute they get to a final, all of a sudden it becomes really, really, really important. I remember Tottenham fans when they got to the final of the Carabao Cup that we played them in. And when Mourinho got sacked, bro, they were all very excited about that. Because they were going to Wembley. It was a cup final, and they might get a trophy. But it's just you move. Look, we all do it, innit? As fans, let's be real. The one thing we can all say, when people go, "Oh, someone's biased," we all are a bit biased towards our fan. Like, let's be. And this, by the way, people, this is today. Like I said to Cass just before we came on, I'm going to be very real today. Like, I've done shows with Cass, Lee, Roms. Lee's seen me when I'm at my most arrogant, confident self. And I don't know, I was thinking earlier the way I felt going into that FA Cup game last season, because we weren't in great form then. And I reckon I'm probably feeling about the same as I did then, because at that point we really weren't performing well. I mean, no player in our team. Jack Grealish was probably our best player, or Nathan Ake at that point of the season. But that was at the Etihad, so probably gave me a bit more confidence. But this one, Kaz, can we just get into it? Are we getting into it? Yeah. Can I just?
Yeah.
This one, if I'm being honest, it's one where, look, our record against Arsenal, everyone knows it. I don't need to come on here and talk about it. The fact Arsenal have dropped points at home this season, but this game's different, right? It's not a derby, and some will say, "Oh, it's not Arsenal City's not a rivalry." But the minute two teams start going head to head for titles, there is some sort of rivalry there. It might not be, we're not Arsenal's biggest rival, right? But it is some sort of rivalry. And this is the one that, for Arsenal, like, it's that hurdle last year that we spoke about. It's the getting over the hurdle. And, like, Arsenal have injuries, let me be clear, because I know some Arsenal fans are getting a bit irritated that City fans are talking about their injuries, and they're like, hold on, but we've got injuries too. But I think the thing here is that we've beat Arsenal so many times that it's not a thing of can we beat Arsenal? We know we can beat Arsenal. It's the thing of now's a good time to play us. Of course, it would be a better time if you had Saka and Martinelli back, 100%.
Saka's back, by the way. Saka's back.
So, and again, I'll be honest with it. This could come back and haunt me, because sometimes things come back and haunt me when I say things. But for me, against City, Martinelli and Trossard are the two that really worry me, like those two. And I'll be real as well with Saka. I was speaking to Monts earlier about Jesus maybe starting wide right, and I thought whenever we used to play Liverpool, Pep would rest Jesus for the Liverpool game and play Jesus wide right because of how good he presses. So I'm thinking that would have been an interesting one to see if he came back to haunt us there. But it's one that, for me, if we lose, Mo made a really good point earlier. We have lost our 2 games since Rodri's been out, suspended, and then we won the one where he's back in the Champions League, right? If we lose this one, then do you know what? We have to take it and accept it and be comfortable in ourselves as treble winners that, do you know what? Even we have a drop-off. We have a player that when he doesn't play, there's a big drop-off, and just accept that. Like, when he's there, we see what we can do, but when he isn't there, so that's the thing, that there will be City fans that fall back and they go, but we didn't have Rodri, we didn't have Kevin De Bruyne. We just have to accept it. Do you know what? Like every other team, we also have a drop-off, right? But what I would say is that this is the moment where I see other players now need to step up, and they need to, like, in the dressing room, I want Diaz to be saying to man, and Walker saying to man, look, yeah, this is where we go out and we remind everyone who we are. We remind everyone this is what we're about, and we're not a one-man team, right? And they need to come in, and I want to see big performances from the big characters. That's what we need, to be clear. I do not care how we win this game, right? I want a performance of champions where we go and get the job done, right? Because I get it. There is a drop-off without Rodri, yeah? So whatever, and this is the key. We have Pep Guardiola, and if anyone can work out what to do, I'm backing him. And look, I think it's one of these moments where we can go there and really remind everyone who we are. Or it's one of those moments where we walk away and go, do you know what? In the grand scheme of things, this probably isn't going to impact our title challenge this season too much, but we have to hold it, that it would be a loss. And we just have to hold it, accept it. But I don't know, if I'm talking key players, I want to see Vardy shine. I want to see Diaz back to high-fiving everyone. I want to see Bernardo putting in them 70k mileage. And yeah, we'll see. And by the way, I do think Haaland's going to bag, because I just have that feeling that he's going into this game knowing he hasn't scored, I think, for 3 games. And he looks frustrated every game that he doesn't score. And I think this could be the game where he's like, I am in, because ultimately 3 games, people are starting to do these, these stat comparisons of him this season to last season. People do, if you want to do that, do the same comparisons with him and any other striker in the league this season, yeah? And it'll still look good. But ultimately, all of that will be forgotten about if he goes and bags at the Emirates. All of it's just forgot instantly. So
I think it's absurd, because for me, there's certain players you don't criticize. I get it. You can have an opinion on any player. You can compare things. I get that. But when you've got a man that's, yeah, he might not bagged in his last 3 games. Yeah, he might not be playing as well as last season. And I do think that is sadly due to KDB as well, because I think their relationship is that good. You've got the ability in the squad to obviously supply Haaland, but not to the standard that KDB does. But for me, this is the player you don't criticize, because I think he's getting a brace on Sunday. I'll say that for free now, because I think when you've got a player that's got a chip on their shoulder and has a point to prove, Haaland doesn't even necessarily have to play well against Arsenal. I just think he's bagging, honestly.
But I would say this is one game where he does have to play well, if I'm being honest, yeah? Because, again, I said I'm going to be honest in this show. He's coming up against, we don't know who he's going to be coming up against, but I would imagine it's going to be Saliba and Gabriel, right? He's coming up against 2 very good centre-backs. So for him to get those goals, get that space and whatever else. But there's the other thing at the moment, Arteta's got a bit of a conundrum in the fact that last season everyone could be, Mark Haaland out of the game. But this season, it's now becoming, I always used to speak about how Raheem Sterling benefited from the space left from Aguero and all the other City players that had to be marked. Managers have a new headache now that they can't put too many man on Haaland, because Alvarez will pop up and expose that space. And maybe that's what's happening this season, that whereas last season it was De Bruyne, Haaland, now some of our goals are coming from different people, because it's kind of almost going back to how it was before, where we're getting goals in other places. And that's why Alvarez is popping up, Doku's popping up, because that final quality ball that De Bruyne can play, or Gundogan can play, to be fair, we haven't got as many of them in the team at the moment. So we're having to find a different way.
I think so. Go on, bro.
No, I was just going to say quickly, for me, whether Arsenal gets success in this game is down to one player. And I know I don't want to keep speaking about him because it gets boring at a game in, game out. But it's Kai Havertz. For me, if Arsenal go with the midfield 3 that most fans want to see, I know Partey just come back from injury. It doesn't even necessarily have to be Odegaard, Partey and Rice. It could even be an Emil Smith-Rowe in the middle. But
won't be though, will it? But we know it won't be that.
He won't do it. He won't do it.
He won't do that.
He won't. But my point is, if he was to just drop Havertz for this one game and go with a different midfield 3, I think that gives Arsenal the greater chance. Some fans will say it gives us a greater chance in any game, but especially this game in particular.
Do you know?
I think him starting, which he probably will, that's where it's a level playing field. Because for me, you have to take the advantage on City. They're missing arguably their best player, like within the top 3. And you're going to not take advantage of that, playing a player that's low on confidence, that's a passenger that isn't doing much.
I think the thing is, right, for me, I said this the other day, that we all know that midfield three. And I'll be honest, I said it the minute they signed Rice, I thought Partey, Rice, Odegaard, that is a very fucking good midfield. Yeah, very good, very good, right? But my thing here is, just to look at it from an Arsenal point of view and an Arteta point of view, is if he plays Havertz and Havertz scores, then, or if he plays, say, whoever and Havertz has a good game, impacts the game, then Havertz is saved for another day and Arteta is saved for another day. That's not going to take the pressure off of Arteta. That's not going to take the pressure off of Havertz. One bad game again and everyone will be back on him. But the problem is, in this game, right, if he starts Havertz and it doesn't work, then all of a sudden, like, that is where everyone... Lee, over to you, because I know you want to probably...
Listen, man, I think, look, there's a lot that everyone said, and I think the first thing is, look, the pressure is on Arsenal, but equally the pressure's on Man City. And the only reason why I'll say the pressure is on Man City is because they are Premier League title holders, and they need to show that they can do something without Rodri. Now, what I mean by that is, Man City can lose a game, but it's the way they lose. If they lose 4-0, which isn't going to happen, but if they lose 4-0 without Rodri, it does show that, you know what, right, if they lose them again, then it shows, you know, the deficiencies in their teams. That's the first thing. I do think when you look at Arsenal, when we're at home, I think we show a real naivety, but we're a good team. Like, and look, Man City are a better team, but we're a good team. So I think with Saka playing, look, how fit he is, I wouldn't have played him. I really wouldn't have played him, even though this is an important game, because, and again, I'm only using these, you know, these points because I did the preview on AFTV with the guys over there, and like Boovy and Big Steve, and he said, look, when Liverpool won the league, Liverpool, you know, when Man City won the league, they lost to Liverpool twice in that season. So it isn't these kind of games where it's going to make or break. But I think the problem is you know that Liverpool, when they won the league, Man City were poor for the first half of the season, and they just ran away with it. So it's going to be a tough game. So there are so many moving parts, and I just think, look, the last thing I'm going to say is, I said this, my prediction. I'm not going to say it yet because I know we're going to leave it to the end. But if Havertz plays, we lose. It's that simple. Now, I'm not coming from the angle of if Havertz is crap or not. That's not the conversation. The conversation is he made for this game? And the answer is no. So I'm not saying whether or not he's good or not. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to get into the whole Havertz thing, but he's not made for this game. And I just want to see Arteta as the manager grow some balls and own it. Like, it's the wrong signing. It's not the right signing for this game, or right player for this game. Go with your strongest team. And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to be fuming if you've got the tools there and you're not using it. Because what you're showing is that you're trying to be strong and wrong. And that's not what you need to be when you're a footballer, when you're a manager, that you have to show that you can adapt. Last season, I remember so clearly, I couldn't even believe what I was watching. I saw Pep going long ball. He bypassed the whole midfield. I don't know if you, man, any of you four can tell me. I don't think I've ever seen Pep.
One other time. I think it was not last season. The back end of the season before last, we played Liverpool at Anfield, and there was times in that game where, and it was surprising even more because that was one of the first times where it wasn't the whole game, but every now and again we kept playing long balls. I was like, that's a bit weird. But I think that's the key way. This is what you want from. But Lee, I was going to say, do you think there's a chance that he might play Havertz, Rice, Odegaard, and Partey at right back again and invert him for a midfield overload?
Or maybe Havertz up top, Havertz down the middle,
and then Jesus on the right, maybe. But if Saka's
playing, Jesus on the left. He played Jesus on the left last game.
I can see Jesus on the left, Havertz up top, and I can see Saka on the right.
No Trossard then.
No, I think Martinelli will be on the bench, by the way. I was told earlier on. I don't know how true it is. I mean, I trust this person.
Then you'd have, and that would then be good, because what that would mean is, because someone was asking me if I think Doku would start or Grealish, and the fact is Doku can play on the right, and we just don't know. But there's almost this sin with me that without Rodri, Grealish helps our retention, because Grealish is good at retention. There's not going to be, and again, this type of game, he might go with Grealish, but I think, like, for me, Trossard and Martinelli, that's great impact off the bench. I'm not going to lie, very good impact off the bench, either of them. Like we saw, I rate, everyone knows, I rate Trossard highly, man. If I see Trossard on the team, that's the most worrying player for me as a City fan. The most worrying player for Arsenal is Trossard, but because he's such a high, he's underrated.
The reason why
is Martinelli back as well, yeah?
He'll be on the bench. That's what I was told. The reason why I would play the reason why I would play Trossard is because I feel like it's pointless playing Martinelli anyway, because he's not going to get past Walker. It is not going to happen. Not to say that Martinelli's crap, but Walker is so damn good and he's just rapid. He doesn't even need to have a great performance. He can play right centre back. He can do the inverted thing, maybe not to the level, but he can do it. And he can play right back. Now, when I look at Martinelli, he's fantastic, but he's coming off an injury. He's not played in 3 games now. And you're expecting him to do wonders against a guy who's a seasoned vet, the best right back in the Premier League ever. And he's getting better with age, not even worse. So that's why I wouldn't say. And then my last point is, you've got all of these inverted fullbacks for Man City. I feel like what Trossard will do is he can get those little pockets. He can get into those little gaps because he is so intelligent and he can shoot on his left. He can shoot on his right. And if there's a case where Walker does bomb forward, he knows where to be.
You know what it is?
Here's the thing with just on the Walker thing, because Walker this season so far has been playing a lot further forward, right? But I think in this game, because now Bernardo's back, I don't think Walker will, because Bernardo can help out on the right. Yeah, I think Walker in this game will probably not be going as far forward. But here's the thing that I worry about with Trossard is that, look, Trossard's not going to beat Walker for pace, but Walker at the best of times always has, if someone does turn it, instead of it being a race, maybe cut inside, Walker can sometimes, make a mistake and give a penalty or something. And the thing with Trossard is that Trossard's, you don't know what he's going to do. And Walker could think he's going to go for a race down the left and then all of a sudden cut inside. And next minute, that is where you can get the better of Walker. So, look, it's one of these games. We just got to be on job, man. On job.
You know what it is? I think what Trossard for them is almost stylistically like your Alvarez, as in, people might think Haaland's the danger man, but I think Alvarez is the one Arsenal actually have to look out for, because that kind of low center of gravity live wire, I think Arsenal will find it not easier, but I think Gabriel and Saliba as a centre back unit will find it, you could say, a bit easier to mark Haaland. I'm not saying they're going to stop him from scoring, but where Alvarez has that bit more freedom and he's a bit more
absolutely.
I feel like he's going to be harder. He's going to have more of an impact on the game than a Haaland will, where Haaland might just score, but Alvarez will be the harder.
The other thing is with Trossard, just quick, one thing on Trossard is, if you look at the Community Shield, in the Community Shield, when Arsenal scored the equaliser, right, it was like, 92nd, 93rd minute, right? And I know it was a deflection, but do you know what? If Trossard didn't shoot, right, there wouldn't have been a deflection, right? And I think in games like this where it's tense, I think sometimes Arsenal might keep looking for that extra pass. Whereas, with Trossard, he won't look for that. Trossard's got, I think Trossard might have the best mentality in Arsenal's whole squad. Like, he's got this winning mentality.
He's the best finisher. But the other thing I was going to say, I'll be honest with you, people aren't going to think I'm going crazy, but I'm telling you now, if Doku plays, that's one of your best opportunities to win. He plays on the left-hand side, goes up against Ben White. Ben White he's my favorite player. Everybody knows Benny Blanco. He's my favorite player. I think he's so good. The reason why Saka's so good is because of Ben White. People don't actually realize that. So, but the thing is, when he plays against Rashford kills him, cooks him every single time.
From Brighton days, bro.
From Brighton days. So, and that's the thing. So when you look at somebody like Doku, who's got the rapid pace and skill, if he's driving at Ben White, it's a long day. So for me,
and the thing is, I'm
playing Doku against him.
Yeah. And what they'll do is go on, Don.
On that as well. I was on a terrace earlier. Mo was like, City players might be a bit nervous, but I'm looking at players like Doku. I don't think Doku's going to be nervous. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think he'll be nervous in this game. And I think Doku, he plays with no fear. Do you know what I'm trying to say? He's the type of winger that I like. And I don't think a game of the Emirates will help him thrive. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So I think.
I don't get Mo. Mo says something on here and then he goes and says something completely.
I actually heard Mo earlier though, Cass, on his own channel saying, I mean, sometimes I might just be running an agenda and don't actually believe it. Sometimes I am talking the truth. But on this Doku thing, like, oh no, firstly on the City players going there, look, I'll be honest, yeah. Today, and I've said to a few City fans, I am a little nervous going into this game. Look, I'll repeat it. I do think we can get the win, but we have to be at our best. We have to go out and put on a solid performance. If we do lose, then I have to hold it, and we have to hold it as a fan base. But it doesn't define our season, right?
This is
It doesn't.
so mad.
And but I think the players, we're fans. You're telling me players like Haaland, players like Grealish, players like Bernardo Silva, with everything they achieved last year and how many times they've been to the Emirates and got a result, they're not going there fucking nervous. And as for Doku,
it's mad.
No way.
And that's the thing, yeah. Yesterday, I did the preview for that with ATV, and I said to Robbie, bro, that's the only one, yeah. This
You're moving like George Groves, isn't it? Every time you got to make sure you get that one in, innit?
No, because no. But no, I'll tell you what.
You mean Frotch? You mean Frotch?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, go on, Lee. Go on.
I said to him, yeah, Robbie, Daps is the only person who I've seen who's been chilled this week, innit? And he was like, what? Bro, this guy's cocky as this. And I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Turkish was like, yeah, he's all cocky when he plays us and that. I'm like, no. Then when I did the fucking preview,
you know what happened though.
It was groovy.
You lot lose, and then Robbie cancels.
I bet Boovy was being arrogant as hell.
Bro, fuck.
Yeah.
Bro.
That's
what happened.
But the thing is, that listen, I match energy with energy. I want it to come on and be truthful, and some City fans will be like, Daps, why are you saying this? I'm being real. Listen, no one can doubt me as a fan, yeah? I'm being completely real. When it gets to certain times when their man have seen me, because they don't holler me this time of the season. They might not holler me at all this season. They probably won't, to be fair, anymore. But that is what it is, different subject. But when it gets to certain points in the season, when I see what's going on, then I'll say what I see and I'll say what I know. At the moment, yeah, I'm saying what I see, and I'm confident enough in my club to say this is a fucking difficult game, yeah? We're going to the Emirates. We haven't got Rodri, and it does look like there's been a big drop-off without him. So it's fine. Like, you know what? Every club has drop-offs. It doesn't mean we're not going to... Let me be clear, people. We're doing a four-peat. I'll say it again. We are doing a four-peat. But I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, we're smacking up Arsenal. Like, I'll leave that to Robbie. Robbie does that every season. Every game, we're smacking up City, and it never happens. I'll leave that to other people. I'll say what I actually believe.
I can't lie.
Yeah, let me do this. Bro, did you just call me Mo?
I said, go on, Mo.
Oh, you said bro. You showed that. You know what?
No, he called you Mo.
Yeah, hold that one.
Bro. He did say bro.
Nah, you have to get out of it still. Chombe, that's a timeout, man. What they call that? That's a sin bin. Spurs beat United, Liverpool, and drew Arsenal. That is 3 trophies for them. Small club mentality. It kills me when I see someone support Spurs in Ethiopia.
We're still talking about Spurs. Jesus.
Hey, Rob, you know done that to you the other day as well. You know I said bro and you kicked me out like that, Cass. Apologize right now. How dare you?
He does it to me as
man just demanded me to apologize on my own channel. Mad. This is mad.
Well, he's gonna dip now, isn't it?
This probably reveals my prediction, but one thing I will say is when it's all said and done, Spurs going to the international break top. That's all I'm gonna say. I think they're going to.
Yeah, but they've done it before. But the thing is, I know this ain't got to do nothing with Spurs, but we saw this, wasn't it last year or the year before?
Yeah. The difference last time, bro, they weren't performing well.
But I can go back to under Poch. I've spoke on this before. I'll always remember in January would have been 2020. No, January 2019 it was, and Liverpool were top. Tottenham was second, City were third. City had a game in hand, and we were playing Liverpool at the Etihad that night. And TalkSport were doing this whole who in the title race, who's going to win the title, Liverpool or City. Remember, Tottenham was second, yeah? And a Tottenham fan rang in going, this is so disrespectful. We're second and you're putting us out of the title race. I know City have got a game in hand. And Adrian Durham at the time goes, do you know what, yeah? I'm going to ignore the fact City have a game in hand over you. you're still not in a title race. You're Tottenham, and that's the
that.
truth. That is the truth of this. You are Tottenham, and I've said it before. Tottenham could be top in April with a 15-point lead. They're not winning the league, bro. Like, so it doesn't matter where they are in fucking October.
Let me do the other. Highbury Ultra says front three has to be Jesus, Kai, Saka.
Whoa.
My head hurts. Highbury, you're gonna have to send another super chat to tell me what I'll go on for.
No, it says all elite pressers of the ball, which is true. I don't know. Is Havertz an elite presser?
Trossard's a defensive liability. In my opinion, we can go a long way. Go long to Kai and bypass City's press.
You know, they did that in the community shield. They did that in the community shield. But the difference is
the way I view him.
It's a valid point about the bypassing the midfield.
Yeah, but that's the reason why it's different. I feel that they shouldn't. It's because you're missing Rodri. That integral player. There's no point doing that. But I want to go back to what Mo said, not to backtrack, but Don. I didn't watch that show, but I'm sure he wouldn't have said players like your Haaland, your Grealish. It was probably the newbies like your Gvardiol's, your Doku's.
Yeah, that's who he was talking about.
But then even them, I feel like the seniors will rev them up. And it's the opposite. They'll relish this. They'll be like, "What? We're going to
Bro, there's players. I can tell you now, right? When I said big game players, listen, Gvardiol, is not going to be phased by this game. Yeah, Gvardiol's like put in one of the best performances of the World Cup. Gvardiol is a monster. Look, I watched Ruben Diaz's interview. I watched Vardiol's interview when they both joined the club. They're so similar, that man's not being phased by nothing at all. Like, so Vardiol, Doku just looks like he's having the time of his life at the moment. I can't see him. You know what? You could say maybe Akanji might be a little nervous or someone like that, or Rico Lewis maybe if he plays, because last time he did play against Arsenal, he played as right back, and Trossard tore him a new one in the first half. So, but now Gvardiol and Doku, they're going to be fine on this.
Yeah, Michael says, you forget Walker is English, so he is rubbish. Michael, I still don't know
who does Michael support.
Yeah, so I don't know. I thought Michael supported Liverpool, right? He doesn't. Michael, have you ever sent a super chat that's anything remotely positive?
I don't even know what angle that's coming from. Is he being sarcastic?
I think that's sarcasm because of the English part.
He cusses every club. I've said it to Kaz before. He just hates the Premier League.
That's fine. It's fine, bro. You know what? I've got this City fan called Stu. Yeah, that anything that happens in the world of football, I get a message on Instagram, like negative on everyone. Like, but it's just, you know what? That's their humor. It's that dry English humor, isn't it? So. Go on. Any more, Cass?
Nah, not any other ones. I was going to say this, though. Talking of the midfield situation, Lee, or anyone, to be fair, I think the most key player is to show up is Declan Rice. I think if he can win the ball back quick and just do the basics well and just move it to the players that need to be moved to, maybe it might even be Partey there. Like, I don't know who's going to be playing DM or mid. But if you can get that ball to Erdegaard quick, just to make sure there is something that City are prone to. They do commit.
This is why they brought in Rice for big games. This is the type of game that I could see him stepping up. Like,
this is the type of game, but look, there's two parts to it. The first part is if Havertz plays, he's the most important player because ultimately he's been brought in to replace Xhaka, and he's got to be effective in some way, shape, or form. So I'll probably say him, but I think if Partey plays, he needs to win that first ball. If you're going to go long, he needs to win that ball back to pass it, because the thing is, Declan Rice can drive with the ball. He can win the ball back. He can do all that. They can kind of double team. But I'm going to say whoever plays in that 6th role, or if Havertz plays in the left 8 role, those would be the most important players. But yes, if you're talking about in terms of making an impact and the money that we've paid for them, etc., yeah, but I could say the same thing. You could basically just say the same thing for Jack Grealish last season, but in truth, he wasn't the most important player because it was Haaland. It was the pressure was on Haaland. The pressure was on other players to make a difference. So
Grealish scored the winner, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Because if we're going off just like the price tag and stuff, and that's my thing. So yeah,
I get what you're saying, because I actually look at Rice, and it's not pressure. Like, look, if Havertz plays and Havertz doesn't perform, it's long for Havertz and for Arteta. With Rice, I'm going to be real. Even if Rice had a quiet game, that don't change my opinion on Declan Rice, yeah? But I do think Declan Rice is the type of player that will be massive. He moved from West Ham to Arsenal for these type of games. He moved there for this type of game. So I expect him to have a good game, to be fair. I was going to say this before on the Doku thing. If you said that Ben White struggles with players like Doku, when Arsenal have struggled against players like Doku, do they sometimes does the right centre-back have to step in and help him out?
Yeah, well, it's mostly Saka, isn't it? Saka comes back.
Saka.
And he's good at that.
That could be something that Pep could think. And look, this is where managers really look at stuff. Like, I was initially thinking Doku on the right because that could help to pin Zinchenko back and maybe mean that Zinchenko can't invert and get involved in the midfield as much because he has to stay on job. Otherwise, if he leaves any space to Doku. But the same, if Doku was on the left against Ben White and other people have to get involved to back him up, that's then going to leave space for Alvarez, Foden or Haaland or whoever else. If the centre-back sees having a hard day and start having to step over, and they're the little details where I think ultimately this game's probably going to be won. Like it is, and let's hope it's not a VAR decision, by the way.
Yeah.
Lee, can we agree, by the way, Lee? Can we agree here and now, yeah? If it is a fucking VAR decision, we just let it drop and fucking move on to the next one? Because fuck me, man.
For me, though, right? One thing I'm going to say, though, look, like, if we win tomorrow, I'm not going to lose my head. I'm not going to be like, oh, my God, we're winning the league. I'm not going to feel like, because unless it's like a battering, obviously, I'm going to be a bit more excited. But my thing is, and listen, they haven't got their two best players or two of the three best players or whatever it is in De Bruyne, who we know is a clutch player and Arsenal's slayer. He's scored so many goals and so many assists.
Yeah.
And then the other player, as we've already alluded to, is probably one of the best midfielders, not just DMs, midfielders in the world right now, in Rodri. So I'm not going to take too much from it. I just want to see Arsenal beat Man City so everybody else can stop saying, oh, we haven't won.
Can I ask you a question?
Lee, you're different, but to be frank with you, Lee, there are Arsenal fans out there. There are Arsenal fans out there like you. No, there are Arsenal fans out there like you, yeah. But listen, I know Sunday if we lose, and I accept it, yeah, I will be here Sunday night, but it will be a long day for me. And like I said, I haven't really done too much talking this week, to be fair, but I know they're going to be on me, and rightly so. Listen, because at the back end of last season, I came for every single Arsenal fan, so we have to hold it. But I just think it's a big, interesting. I'll pause on that one. It's an interesting one.
I've got a question after the Cats, though.
Yeah, I was going to ask Lee, like, if he does play Havertz and you do lose 3-1 at home or something like that, like, what's your thoughts on Arteta?
So I didn't hear what was going on. I didn't hear that.
No, I said if he does play Havertz and you do lose at your gaff again, like how would that make you feel about Arteta?
Bro, there's big questions, bro. Like I'm not gonna be Arteta out. I just think that's just stupid because for me, he's done some really good stuff, but I'm gonna be pissed because, as I said, he's got the tools there. There's no excuses, and I'm not one to give excuses with even Saka because you're the one that's put him in this predicament. Yeah. You're the one that signed bloody Reece Nelson to a new contract. You're the one that gave ESR, who I don't even rate, a new contract. You're the one that signed Fabio Vieira and want to play him off the right. So if this is what you're doing, then you have to be held by your decisions.
But so the thing is, Oli,
I'm not pushing anybody out the door, but I'm also not going to be sitting here saying that he can get away with anything. And I don't. Everyone keeps saying Arsenal are going to get banged, like cooked. I don't know why people I genuinely don't.
This is a question.
It's not cooking. Definitely not fucking.
This is a question for Daps, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Your midfield three will probably be Bernardo, Kova, and Nunes.
Well, to be honest with you, going into the Wolves game last week, that is exactly what I wanted. I was saying, I hope Bernardo's back. If we play Cover, Nunes, Bernardo, that's a lot of retention. There's a lot of retention there. The legs of Bernardo, but at this point, bro, because although that was the pivot that I wanted against Wolves, it didn't work, bro. It didn't work, and we have to. I have to say, do you know what? Maybe. And look, there's other things that in that game in particular, Wolves just ultimately played very fucking well. And they said, you know what, we're just going to target you down the wings, right? And that's what they did. Neto was unbelievable. And also, I think it probably in hindsight, Nunez left Wolves in a bad way. Like he literally stopped going to training. Yeah, it wasn't a good game for Nunez. He looked bad. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm looking at this at the moment, bro. I was hoping that Stones would be back. It's not looking like Stones is going to be back from what Pep said, and I think that's another big miss. So look, I could try and guess, bro, but I can't guess.
Cool. Let me just go through who could play in your midfield. Right, Rico Lewis couldn't.
No,
but I don't think he'll start.
No, Rico, and anyone that says Rico Lewis, like yes, Rico Lewis on Wednesday night against Leipzig was sensational, right? And Rico Lewis in the summer, playing in that particular role that he played on Wednesday was sensational, but that particular role was not the 6. The role he played on Wednesday night was far more advanced, and he was getting in the box, and he was right. Rico Lewis against Newcastle the week before, he's not physical enough, bro. Their man will he's not physical enough for this game. It's not fair.
My actual point then, cool. Are you a bit worried on the transition? Because I look at your midfield then, who you've got at your disposal, and I don't really see a ball winner. Bar Bernardo, actually, I don't really see that destroy that ball winner. So on the transition, are you a bit worried?
Yeah, for me, I said this, I think, on Wednesday, probably to Don, that look, Rodri's out, yeah. And firstly, Rodri's not really a destroyer, first and foremost, but he's more of a destroyer than covering Nunez.
But
yeah,
he's intelligent. He'll come out
but you know what? We have an injury. Same way with Arsenal have to work out what they do now they don't have Saka. We don't have Rodri. So now it's Cover, it's Nunez, and it's Rico, and ultimately what Bernardo Silva. Yeah, and Bernardo Silva, but that's not a destroyer. So this is where I look at Diaz, I look at Vardiol, I look at Ake, I look at Walker, I look at Akanji, whoever's playing in that back unit, they have to be on job. Like, we're not going to win this game, yeah, like a walk in the park. Our defenders have to be more on job because they don't have Rodri in front of them. And this is the thing. Oh, well, by the way, Calvin Phillips for me, not in the equation, because yes, Calvin Phillips is more of a destroyer than them. But the problem is that once he gets the ball, he's so unpress-resistant, the turnover will be too quick. So we just have to outwork them. This is where we have to fucking knuckle down, work hard, and keep the ball. And this is where I thought Grealish maybe, because when we get the ball, yeah, we can't lose it. We have to make sure we keep it. Go on, Bob. What were we going to say?
Do you know who could actually work in that pivot, bro? Nathan Ake.
Scott Carson. Oh
no, Nathan Ake in that pivot. When he used to play for Chelsea, when he used to play for Chelsea coming up, yeah, when he first came, he used to play as a CDM.
Yeah. No, not this game, bro. But
I'm just saying.
It's one of them ones where, like, I said at the beginning of last season how we kept rotating our centre-back partnerships. And to be fair, that I think personally, that's what Arteta's been doing with trying these different players. It's great to try different players in the games that you can try them in. Bringing in Ake to play as a DM the first game.
I'm not saying this game, but all I'm saying this game, Daps. I'm saying, in general, going forward, you can definitely play him in that role.
1,000,000%. So last summer, when Newman was sniffing around him, I actually heard that a few times. People said to me, Ake, Newman might want to keep him because Ake can play centrally in a 3. He can play a centre-back. He can play left-back. He can also, if need be. And look, at times, he probably does play. You've got to remember, both of our fullbacks often end up inverting and sitting there. But look, we haven't got Rodri. And I'm not the first fan of any club that's had to come on and go, do you know what? We're missing a key player. Rodri is a key player. That's why I think if we win this game, that is such a big message that, you know what, without KDB, without Rodri, and let's be clear, Stones was playing alongside Rodri last season. Stones is not available. And that one for me, probably today, was the one that made me think, you know what?
I think he comes back. I think it's mind games. I think he's at least on the bench.
Can I just say, I said this to Cass earlier, yeah, and I've always thought this, right? And this is one thing where I give Arteta a bit of credit, right? You know, all this, and it was last season as well, where he'd say things in press conferences about players not being available.
Lies all the time.
But here's the thing. I've never understood why managers give so much fucking information. See me, yeah? I'd be going in every press conference and, I'd be going, Haaland's injured. I'd be listing everyone as injured. So I don't get why. So you're right, but Pep usually doesn't do that. So I don't think...
Let me tell you something as well, right? Even today, right? I don't know if you guys have seen on Twitter, I think his name is Sami Mokabel, the one he's like a journalist for the Daily Mail.
Yeah.
He's just released the information that Saka is going to be cleared Like, why the fuck do journalists do that?
Yeah.
It is so annoying. And there's
It's a
like even a few
job,
people on Twitter as well, and they've got a lot of information. They're releasing the team news 4 hours prior. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, there's clearly a reason why they don't want that shit out. Like,
well,
what are you doing?
Yeah, and even more so with managers, because I even said to Cass earlier, there's no rule that managers. So I've always thought, why do managers give other teams and managers the advantage a day before going, by the way, this player's out? But do you know what? I always say this as well on information. That's where I really rate Athletic, because I know Athletic have so much information that they don't release because they probably want to keep their integrity, whereas other people, they get a little snippet. But look, that's where people lose jobs over that, because the club will find out how that got leaked and someone will get the sack for that. But do you know what? At the end of the day, this is why it's interesting to see how Arteta goes about it, how Pep goes about it. And at the moment, when you're asking me who's going to play, I don't know. But I would say I don't want to see Phillips. I don't want to see Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis looked so good the other day, but the Emirates in a 6 role, I'm not feeling that. And look, this is where our defenders are going to have to be, are going to have to stand up and be counted, because we're playing a good Arsenal team. And I'll be honest, if I see Partey, Rice, Odegaard, that will really worry me. It will do. I think Community Shield, I think they did. I think.
What is your excuse for rubbish Arsenal lose Sunday? I already know. Brother, do you think I give a shit if Arsenal lose? What do you mean, my excuse?
Hasn't got his own club to worry about.
I need international break's about to come up. Yeah,
keep them coming, Michael. Slander on me next, please.
I need Arsenal to lose because YouTube asks for it. That's why. I need algorithms. I need.
I'm not talking on them gods ever again. Last time I mentioned them, it went the other way around.
Yeah, man. Let the algorithm gods just like do its thing, man. I need the Arsenal loss. They lost their entire. I need you lot to start crying a little bit, making all.
I need the humbling.
If Arsenal win, there will be talks of invincibles happening.
You don't kill me about that super chat. The fact Hazard's the only one that's not said.
I said nothing. By the way, there's 500 of you in here. There's 500 in here. Please.
Yeah, we need it tonight. Still, we need it.
Smash the like. If every one of you could just, if you've got an account, it takes 2 seconds of your time. We ask every stream. It's not really annoying. I've only even asked this stream really, so you don't mind putting your phone live chats away, liking the video, and then we'll resume back to the football talk. And big up Big Steve. He's saying,
shout out Big Steve, man. Shout out.
Vardio DM, bro. Do you know what?
It's one of
Bro, but I get it. Look, for me at the moment, it's one of them things where I'm trying to, and I think even in the summer we had a debate over it. For me, right, I want to see Vardio, Stones, Diaz. I know Stones can't play, but overall, Vardio, Stones, Diaz, and Ake all on the same pitch. But the problem is that quite a few of them favour the left side, so it doesn't really work like that. Vardio's gone below the radar this season, with how well he has landed at City. And most of our clean sheets have come when Vardio's been playing. The second half performance against Forest, when we went down to 10 men, no one's talking on him, but I do see him as he's very comfortable going forward, but he's also got that destroyer side. So I see it, but is it a good thing to try first game against Arsenal? But do you know what? This is a thing where you got to remember, Pep will have been looking at the minute Rodri got sent off. Pep's been thinking about this game, and trying to work out the best way to play. And there will have been things happening. So I don't know. I see it, but I don't know if this game.
Play on the ball at your back line currently. That's a available fit. Maybe Ake, maybe Kanji, one or the other.
Now, do you know what? I must admit, like I keep saying, Akanji is a great.
Be nice in there, man. I used to enjoy watching him in there.
Not this game, man.
I'm not saying this game. I'm just saying in general, bro. That's what I'm saying. Because, bro, Rodri's not back for another 2 games.
No, Rodri's back after this game.
This is where you got to rate Pep. This is where you got to rate Pep. He has that certain identity where his centre backs need to be able to play that DM role, or they have the attributes to play that DM role. This is where you've got to rate him, because probably bar Diaz, they can all probably do a role there. Majority of them can do
Akanji's been going in there a little bit this season, to be fair, and you know what that shows. He's only been at the club for a year, and he's already able to do that. So, but I don't know, man.
It's comfortable in there, though, man. When I watch him in there,
no, he doesn't. I agree, bro. He doesn't. No, it's John Stones, definitely not.
Definitely heavy in there.
Steve said like 100%. Would anybody question or batter an eyelid if Guardiola was there? Would you batter an eyelid if fucking you had bloody Haaland on the right wing? Would you batter an eyelid? Because ultimately
You just have to trust him.
you have to, like how can you as a Man City fan question anything that these guys said or done? Because anything that he does anyway turns to gold. Everything.
How nice that must feel.
Other than the Champions League final.
Do you know what it was? There was. So I remember first season. Yeah, what under a month in fact, when Pep decided to drop Joe Hart and say we're selling Joe Hart and we're bringing another player in, right? So we wanted Pep Guardiola, of course, like any club, we wanted him as manager. He's come in the door, and the first hard decision is against a cult hero in Joe Hart, who has put in amazing performances in the Champions League.
I thought he was mad at the time.
And like, if you ever watched like the way we were all singing "Don't Sell Joe Hart," and funnily enough, Joe Hart's last game for City, he actually was passing out from the back and looking all right at it, yeah. But we had to take it because you can't bring in a manager like Pep and then the minute he makes a tough decision, and then for the rest of that season, because we got Bravo and we didn't have the fullbacks to play out from the back, it was like, this is a bit of a sticky one, Then the minute Edison came in and we saw what happened, it's like, yeah. And from stuff like that, look, Pep's done some crazy things and people say, oh, he overthinks everything. But they say that when we lose games, yeah? How many games do we lose compared to how many tough games do we win, right? When we win tough games, it's probably because Pep has overthought it and tactically beat the other manager, the other team. But no one ever says he overthought that. They only use the overthinking slogan when it doesn't go well. But usually it does. So there's no way. Look, I'm at a point with this club and the board, the manager. I trust them. And sometimes we have bad days at the office. And this one's one for me where we just need the players to work for Pep. We need the players to put shift in this game. I think Bernardo could be massive, Bernardo could be huge.
I was going to ask one question for you, Lee. Yeah? Do you agree with Saka playing anyways, even if he is deemed fit? Or even, do you agree with it? Like, honestly, like, is it really that deep long term?
Yeah, and listen, I've said this, man. Like, this whole there's a bunch of Arsenal fans saying they're trying to put the emphasis on Saka, saying I need to be rested, or even though I'm injured, let me play through it. And I'm like, where do you knobheads get off with saying that Saka's the one that should be saying? He's a child, energetic child. He's 22, you're 21 years old. To me, I look at you as a kid, you're God's child, whatever. So for me, I'm saying the manager needs to put his foot down and put some emphasis and say, look, I need to look after your career. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but Saka last season played more minutes than De Bruyne in the Premier League. He played more minutes than...
Oh, I would imagine that, bro. Yeah.
He played more minutes. He played almost the same amount of minutes as Haaland. I think Haaland had 4,000.
Yeah, Haaland got subbed off quite a lot.
But he played in 5 competitions. Saka played in 3. And I include 5 because you played the Community Shield.
Play more than Bruno.
I don't doubt it, bro. I think
he played more minutes than every single player for Man City. I'm talking about Man City.
Yeah, bro.
They're the barometer of winning. So when
I don't doubt it, Lee.
When I'm looking at the numbers, I'm like, why is this guy playing so much? People look at it like it's a blessing to play 86 games in a row. I feel it's a curse because you're relying on this guy physically and mentally. Now, everybody knows how fucking hard it is to get up and go work every day. Now, imagine having to do that every single day and then have to perform to the highest level. And you've got all these people watching you. It's not easy. And then on top of that, we're trying to go for a title. And then when shit goes south, everybody's looking at you. So this season, if we flop and he has a poor end to the season, you know what everyone's going to say?
Yeah.
Do you know, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. So it's almost like it makes no sense. And I'm like arguing with people. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Why you're pressuring this guy? Game out when, again, I'm going to go back to it. You fucking gave Reece Nelson a contract. Play the brother. He's not even shit.
But Lee, the thing is as well, it's 100% true, and in a way, this break has been a bit of for Rodri has been a bit of a saving grace, because the same thing. Rodri in the summer, I believe, had a chat with Pep and said, I can't keep playing every single game, because like you look at Rodri in all competitions and then flying off to Spain, and since he's gone it, the same thing. And I think that's probably why Pep didn't go in too hard on him. You can't. And for me, Saka's age as well. And I think the valid point is, do you know what? Saka comes across to me as the type of person that if Arteta said, how do you feel? Arteta would say, I want to play for the team. And to Arteta, and I believe Saka wants to play for the team. He wants to, but at times, and look, I'm not going to say he's going to get an injury. And people are saying, oh, it's not related and this and that. But I can tell you now, right, as growing up, that sometimes I've had parts of my body hurt, and it's not because I've got a knock on it or anything. It's just because overall I'm tired. And by the way, actually, one of the reasons often your body can be tired if you don't get enough rest, any part of your body. And then the minute you're tired, your body is more likely to get an injury because it's ultimately fucking tired, and people can. But I don't doubt you've got. I don't doubt you must.
Saturday with 5 hours sleep, I dominate the game still. What can I say, man?
Oh, back to that.
But do you know what? Okay, but do you know what though? Yeah, doing that now and doing that in maybe 3-4 years time, when you're constantly doing it, it's a difference.
Yeah.
So
we're talking
about a 22-year-old, but if this was the same person that's been doing it from 17, by the way. 25, 26.
Lee, didn't something happen about 2 years? Didn't something happen about 2 years ago? Yeah, where Arteta was coming out saying referees need to protect Saka more, right? Because of the risk of injuries and whatever else. And it's it's quite ironic now because, I'm not gonna lie, and this isn't on Arteta because do you know what? Arsenal pays fucking wages for the young kid. I hope that he doesn't get forced to start both games for England. For me, he shouldn't even go.
Even that, I don't necessarily.
Apparently, he might get omitted though. Apparently,
he should be, bro. He should be.
My thing is,
it has to be.
We know as a footballer, you're going to play for your international team.
Yeah.
So why should it be a thing where manage the guy? So you can't just because he doesn't get paid. It's a part of the game. It's a part of the game to play for your country. So why is it a thing where now he shouldn't play for his country? Now he should be pulled out every game or every week and do what Trent did, or supposedly what Trent did, whatever it is. You can't do that. You have to.
What did he do?
Didn't Trent pull out of the England squad, or he's
done
it a few times?
Too busy chatting up pregnant women, isn't it?
Well, fair enough. But my point is that why is it that people keep mentioning, he's gone for England? That's part of football. Football. But for me, I'm like, it doesn't matter about who he gets paid by. Ultimately,
both of them together should manage it.
They're both doing his bad job. So if Arteta is smart and he's thinking, right, he's going to go and play 3 games in a week for England. Would you not think about taking him off in the 60th minute against Bournemouth when we're 3-0 up? Yeah. Would you not think about we're playing Lens, who are a good team, but you have to trust the squad. Now I go to this an overarching point.
He shouldn't have even played at all.
The bigger fact, right? The bigger fact.
He's making a mess, bro.
Yeah, the bigger fact is when it gets to the crunch end of the season and we get an injury, God forbid, and these players haven't played, they come in cold. Yeah. They're going to get an injury. Now, you know what happened with Jorginho when he made the mistake against Spurs? You know why he made that mistake? Because he hadn't played any minutes before or any substantial minutes. So you're throwing players in and then you lose players. So when we had Sambi Lokonga, we had an injury to Partey. What happened? We had to play Sambi Lokonga. He's shit, but he looked even worse because he hadn't had the game time.
Oh, that's very valid.
You're pushing players into a position to play. And Chelsea, you're going to get the same thing when you've got 1 game a week. Your problem you're going to have is you're going to have such a big squad and you don't have enough games for these players to all play and rotate. So then what's going to happen is if you do get an injury and you haven't played them, by the time it gets to next January, February, March, they're going to look so poor because they've not played enough. And that's the thing. But we've got the games, but we're not playing them. We're not rotating.
Lee, do you know the other thing? And back a few years ago, again, actually, it's back to that when we were playing Liverpool in January in 2019, and De Bruyne had been injured for a while, and there was talks he was back in training, and one of my mates was going 100% he's starting. And at the time I said, do you know what? I don't think he will, because I think away from that he's not match fit, I think also in these moments, sometimes it's a vote of confidence to players, and that can help the overall team spirit. And also it can also change the way other teams look at you. If Arsenal go, do you know what? We're not gonna risk Saka, right? We don't need him. Straight away, everyone on the team has got an extra bounce in their step, because they're like, yeah, you know what? The gaffer trusts us. The gaffer knows that we've got this. So there's that extra bounce. But then also it tells other teams, fucking hell, you know what? This Arsenal are not a one-man side. Like, we can't, whoever's out, like they really trust this system. And it's just those little things as well but I do also get that we can't hide the fact that Saka can win a game like that. So it's a hard one, man. It's a hard one, but I feel for him.
End of the day, it's just negligent, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because end of the day, Saka is probably one of Arsenal's most important players. Do you know what I'm saying? And you need him on the pitch. But if you're playing him all the time, you're not going to make him as effective as what he usually is. I know right now he's getting the numbers, but when you actually watch him this season, bro, he's been under the level that we're used to, Saka. And I'll be real with you, he's getting marked out of games. Do you know what I mean? He's not really doing much really overall in games.
Do you know, an Arsenal fan rang in Talk Sport the other day, right? Season ticket holder, and he was saying, look, I trust Arteta. I'm not Arteta out. Arteta's done so much good for the club. This is the one thing I worry about. And he said, anyone that goes to regular Arsenal games, will agree with me when I say this. At the end of a lot of games, right, when Saka's played the full 90th minutes, the kid looks fucking dead coming off the pitch, like he's got a limp. He looks like he's feeling it as well. But I'm not going to lie, like, the weird thing is, if you look at let me go back to Wenger and Fergie, those two in particular, they would be on the phone to Gareth Southgate, literally telling him they're not coming. They're not coming. Like, I don't care what you say, they're not coming. Like, because they're our asset, we pay them, and like, I don't know, England's top of the group, we're going to qualify, right? Like, how many points do we need to qualify?
I don't know.
None of us really know, but someone in the chat will know. I'm pretty certain we're pretty much.
There's no real qualify anyway.
Well, exactly. And that's where you look at it and you think, come on, man, give him a rest, man. Give him a rest. And furthermore, this is the type of, look, if we can't play an alternative to Saka in a group stage and win the game, then do you know what? What's the fucking point in going to the Euros anyway? Because clearly we're not good enough. So these are the type of games where Southgate should actually be trying other players. A bit like you could say Arsenal last week against Bournemouth. They're the type of games where he should be going, do you know what? Let's try Jesus, right? Let's try it. Yeah, anyway.
So we can't keep saying the England thing. Yes, he gets played by Arsenal, but we can't keep saying that because we've had the same opportunity to do that on Arsenal. And I'm not saying to not play the whole game, but we're 3-0 up and he's still on the pitch. But anyway, it is what it is.
Let me do this super quick time. Highbury, big up. He says, I don't know if it's been mentioned, but I heard Martinelli train today as well. I reckon Saka is a smoke screen. Could see Martinelli starting or on the bench.
Yeah, I heard he's going to be on the bench. So
yeah, he says as well, it's not only Arteta. You have to realize Saka's agency and PR team are very heavy on him playing every game and not missing any international breaks. Or if that's the case. Michael says, Cass, make such you clip them all on AFTV after they melt down on Sunday. I know Ty's gonna call every City player and refs a disgrace. I big up Ty, man. What a guy.
No, it's not our Ty.
Nah.
He's meaning AFTV Ty.
Yeah, what a guy, man.
Although they're getting kind of similar, to be fair. They are getting kind of similar.
RTX says they say Napoleon was the greatest strategist, but never managed to conquer Europe like Pep. 1-4 City as always.
Oh, love that.
4-1. No, I like that, man.
12. Listen. He said, I'll tidy the whole house on Sunday, Sunday evening, and I will buy you whatever food you want if City win 4-1. Fuck me, I'm taking that.
All right, what's the call?
So,
what were we saying? Predictions? Even guys in the comments. Make sure you like this. 10 likes or 200 as well.
I think both teams are going to try to cancel each other out, you know. I'm going for 2-2.
I believe it 2-1 Arsenal for some reason, man. Or it's more leaning to the draw, but I just think it's the midfield for me, man. That's it. But
I'm
if
saying-
if Havertz starts, then I'm changing my whole prediction.
Same.
You know what
I'm
I
saying
mean?
2-1 City. I'm saying 2-1 City.
Yeah, man. I don't.
Don, you want Havertz to start, innit? Don. You want to see
Bro,
it?
I'm having some fun, man. You know what I mean?
Who you got this
I was looking-
weekend, Don?
All right.
No, Lee, go on, Lee.
Not Burnley.
You do your
Not
prediction
Burnley.
firstly.
If Havertz starts, we lose. I don't know what the score is. It's pointless. It's actually pointless, though. I don't want to give a score, but if Havertz starts, I'll probably say we'll lose 3-1. Now, I said 2-1. That I've been saying 2-1 that we'll win, and I there's no logic to it other than we have to. There's absolutely no logic, so there's no point in asking me. But I'm now sitting here, and because I'm confident that Saka's gonna play, I'm gonna just say 3-1 somehow.
But even if Saka plays, though, yeah, I know people are saying Saka might play in that, but because he ain't been looking the same, bro. Like, and if let's say if he's injured, he's playing with an injury, yeah, bro. What use is he gonna do in the pitch?
You know what? And
Yeah,
touch
but
wood.
Been cleared to play. Breaking
Yeah,
news. Cleared to play. Breaking
Yeah,
news.
I mean,
I see that earlier.
God forbid this happens. God
Mad
forbid
late
this
for that.
happens. But there's always that one game where you've just gone a bit too far. I think with the intensity City player as well, God forbid, but this could be the game where he just played that one game too much. And let's say that minor, what Achilles, whatnot, he might have going on. Let's say it gets more seriously. Arsenal need to manage this very, very carefully. You know.
Well,
very,
listen, every Arsenal fan's been saying what most of them have been saying. Look, we need to
Yeah.
drop. So it's only on one person. And if we lose our title charge or challenge or whatever it is that we're potentially trying to do because of Arteta, the blood's on his hands. Just the same way how the same person that bought Havertz, the blood's gonna be on his hands. So there's no you can't look at Arsenal fans.
When they get the banners out, Lee.
Bro, listen. Let me tell you now, bro. I'm gonna put more than that out, bro. Listen, on the way home, mind them know, yeah. When Arsenal players leave the stadium, innit, the way they leave, bro, they get caught slipping, bro. When I catch Arteta, like, hey, brother.
And just listen, I'm sticking with it. I'm not doing a prediction. Definitely not on this game. Definitely not on this game. It's a big game, man. And
but
I'll be here after the game. I'll be here after the game.
Saying
Innit,
that
so.
we're gonna lose 100%.
Yeah, man. And then we'll be back tomorrow morning. As well.
Don, you must win.
I know.
Yeah,
We must.
you must.
You must win.
I'm not running from it, bro. I'm confident.
Hey,
Yeah. Oh, fucking Burnley, bro. I hope you are.
Yeah.
well, man.
I wasn't,
You
bro. I
must.
told you already. Last season,
Brother.
I wasn't confident against teams like
Brother.
Southampton, against teams like West Ham. You get it? So
Chelsea.
you can't be
You
too
must.
big-headed.
Don, wouldn't it just be nice to go into international
Like-
games?
like-
Your
life
team
can
and
humble
top
you
half of the
sometimes.
game.
Hey, man, life can humble you sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, trust me, it humbled me last week. Football is a humbler. It's one of the
Chelsea.
truest sayings.
I got humbled last year, bro.
No more speaking. Chelsea.
Guess what?
What about you, Kaz? What about you, Kaz?
Do not let me win tomorrow. Do not let me win tomorrow. Do
No,
not. let me
you're
win.
gonna win. You're gonna
Actually, let's just put one out there. I know the numbers
that's
aren't
good.
as high. The numbers aren't as high as they will be tomorrow night. But just let's put this out there here and now. Yeah, I know you'll still be in the chat, but win, lose or draw, Cass will not be here tomorrow night because he's not about. Yeah, so. We got a but. However, we've got a fucking shameless panel on tomorrow night, and it's going to be fireworks. So I'm telling you, it's going to be fucking fireworks.
Any bum shaking pause, but you know who I mean by that.
Oh, the bum shakers, bro. The bum shakers there. Traps is there, and Duad, and Traps is Traps. Yeah,
I've not met him yet.
bro. Traps don't fuck about, bro. He's on to any man, and he knows everyone. He knows
Wait,
what
is this the United fan you're speaking about when I was at York and you're getting on to certain fans?
But, oh yeah. He's been on at Gunner King this week, Churchill and that. Bro, he has received on everyone. Yeah, so like, bro, it will be fireworks either way. But I'm just gonna sit back and chill.
Ali, in the words of Monts,
It is D-Day today. You have Man City.